Good afternoon. Welcome to your how we build video. So basically what will happen here is I'll film this video as if you were here in person, and I'll kind of go through all the bits and components of the home and just kind of give you a general oversight as to what you're looking at before we actually start to insulate and then eventually hang drywall. So to get it started, I always like to start out in the garage, and I kind of work my way left to right to try and do it systematically speaking. But starting off here in the corner, you see this blue wire right here. That's where your garage, it'll be like mounted right here. It's a little bracket with it shoots a laser across to the other side with that blue wire. And that basically is what's going to prevent the garage from coming down. It'll shoot a laser across here. And if your foot crosses that path, it'll stop the garage and come back up. And again, at closing, I'll kind of explain more about the garage door itself. But for now, that's all you need to know, that blue wire is for there, because if you look up here and you follow it, that blue wire comes over to here, and this is where the box will be mounted. The actual garage door motor unit will be mounted. So that blue wire comes out there. You have an outlet switch for that. And then this blue box here, that's where the light for the garage is going to be. And while we're sitting up here looking at the trusses, this box right here that's been framed out, so it's on the left side of here, the garage, this is where your attic access is. So we'll have a piece of drywall in here, and it'll be trimmed out, and that allows you to have access into the actual attic. So right up here, there'll be an outlet, and then you'll have a switch for the light, which is that blue box right there, so that you can see when you get up into the attic. But once you actually move into the home, you really shouldn't have to do much or be up in the attic at all. But it's just for, if they need to work on any of the mechanicals, or, if for some reason you had to get up in there. With that, as you can see, your trusses are made of 2x4s. So it's not really meant to hold any significant amount of weight. If you wanted to put a box of, say, light Christmas decorations or something like that to store up in there, that would be okay, as long as it's resting on the studs. You can't rest it on the drywall up there, but that would be all right. But I just wouldn't store anything too heavy on the trusses. They're designed to withstand the load of the roof, but not to be to put too much weight like on the actual lower parts right there. So just a little heads up on that. So moving our way through the garage, first thing on this corner, you notice you have these cables here. These are the quick ties, and you will basically see them all throughout the home. So as I'm working along, they're specifically placed to have a plan sheet that I walk through and make sure that they have the right color and they have the right location of those. And that basically ties in the roof to the main level, to the actual into the footing. So you'll see down here you have these anchor bolts, and those again are also spaced out right there. So those go down into your footer right here, and that's what's holding this base plate to there. And then your cable ties, the way those are done, they're drilled down into the footer here as well, and they're epoxied, and then that's tightened off at the top. You can't see it, obviously it's sitting on the top plate, but so you have that holding there, and then you have these hurricane straps which basically connect the roof trusses to your top plate there. So it's basically the system that we apply is so that your whole house is one tied in system. So you have the roof attached to the main wall, which is then attached into the footer. So it's all connected, all engineered for it specifically as well. So right here, you have your main water cutoff switch. So it's in this box, and it'll be just trimmed out after they put up drywall there. You'll still have access to this. I always recommend when you're going away to turn off your water supply and then drain it down the way. So all your sinks, you open up the taps and make sure that you remove the water out of the lines, because there is a lot of piping that runs overhead. So there is still a good bit of water in the system, even if you do cut it off there. This box right here it'll allow you to access it for inspection purposes in the future, but just to show that the house is ground. So this piece of rebar right here is down inside the footers, tied into the rebar in there. So that grounds the home. This green wire right in here that you can see, this is run all throughout the home, and that's part of the TAEX system. So they can come, and I'll show you when I do the outside part of the tour here, but they can come. Home Team is the company that does this, but they can come hook them into the system and then basically spray their pesticide And the nice thing with this is it stays inside the wall cavity, and inside here, it's got these, you can't see them, but it has these little slits that allow it to be sprayed out in a rotational pattern, so that when they do put like insulation in here, even if part of it is covered with insulation, it still allows it to cover part of the stud base. So it's a neat product, and they preemptively just put it in there because obviously you can't do this after you close. And you know, it's a system that you can choose to continue, and I do highly recommend that. This is also the same company that does your termite tubes, bait stations that they put out in the yard. Again, something I would also highly recommend here in South Carolina, especially with the wood framing. So that is what that line is. This right here is your copper line for your AC unit. So the AC unit will be on the other side of that wall. And if you're planning on doing any kind of shelving system, I highly recommend using this wall over here. There's not much over there besides a singular outlet, so a lot less stuff to hit. This side, we have everything on here because that obviously is the outside. So all your mechanicals and whatnot will be run out here. So definitely recommend that wall if you're going to do one of those side mounted shelving systems. All right, so moving along here, we have an outlet right there. And then here's where your electrical panel will be. So there'll be a couple slots at the bottom here that if you want to add any electrical, you're more than willing to. And then we'll have, obviously, the panel will be labeled as well. And that'll all be inspected before you close the home. This orange tube right here, they're typically blue, but they're called a Smurf tube. So this allows you to run the low voltage into the home. So there's a conduit that runs to the outside of the home, which is this gray one right here, and that's how whoever you use, Spectrum or Hargray, will be able to run their wire into here, and then they can then get it right here, because this will be another closed off box. So they'll pick it from there, and then they'll feed it through that orange tube, which goes up and into the home and drops down into the low voltage panel, which I'll point out. This right here, this black tube, this is where the gas comes into the home. So it's just a good idea to know that that'll be right next to the panel. And then this is the water supply for your hot water heater there. So just a good idea to know where all that is located inside the wall. Never a bad thing to have knowledge on your side. And last little bit, I forgot over here, this blue wire, again, continuation of the garage door system. This will be where the little button is that you can press to open and close the garage door. And you'll also get actual garage door clickers as well when you close. And the only thing on this wall I have is your outlet over there, and then where the other garage door laser is. So that is everything I have in the garage. So I'll be moving forward into the home. Have a switch on this side. So once we actually step into the home, I'll work my way to the right here. So this is the den study. So one of the options you had picked was you had the can lights in the ceiling there. So every room gets a supply and return. So you have your supply there, you have your return there, and then you also have a box for a ceiling fan. So if you notice that is screwed up into the stud there, so that's able to hold a good bit amount of weight. So it'll be ceiling fan ready. With code, you basically will get outlets all along the walls here. Every 6 foot from a corner, you have to have an outlet. So this is the den right here. This will be controlled by this box here. You have 3 slots, so you have 3 switches. So one of these switches will control, it's called a half hot. So most likely, it'll probably be this box right here. But what happens is the outlet will be flipped upside down, and either the top or bottom half will be activated by this switch. So typically you plug like a lamp into there, something like that on a table. But then when you come over here and you hit the switch on and off and toggle that, that'll turn that light on or off. So it's just kind of a neat, just something additional. And then the other switches here will control the lights, and then one will control the ceiling fan. And again, like I said, this is all stuff that I'll reiterate at the walkthrough, but just to see it before we hang the drywall is kind of neat. So stepping into the hallway here, we get an air supply right at the door, and then one of your other options was you had the hallway can lights there. And then outside of every bedroom, this blue box right here, you have to have a smoke carbon combo. So that's just a code thing, because in all the bedrooms you have a smoke detector, which is where that black box is in the corner right there. And the systems are all tied together. So when one goes off, they all go off. It's very obnoxious, but again, that is a good thing. In here, you also have the can lights option as well. And again, you get a supply, and then you get a return, and then you also have your ceiling fan mounted box right there as well. And again, this is all controlled by 3-gang box right here. So again, the first switch typically is the one that controls the switched outlet, which I believe will be that one in the corner right there. And then the other outlet or switch, excuse me, controls the lights. And then the other switch, last switch, controls the fan box. And then the only difference between this and the den, you get a little bit more room because this is an actual bedroom. And then you have the closet door right there. So moving across the hall, we have your bath 2. So this is where the tub is. Faucet head will come out right there. You get a light over there. All the bathrooms have an exhaust fan and a air supply. You'll have the toilet right here. And then this is just for test purposes with the city, but this is where the vanity will go. You get a GFI outlet in the corner here. And again, you've got the box that controls everything. So first switch is typically, typically is your vanity light, which will be mounted right up there. Then the next switch will be the light over the shower. And then your third switch will control the exhaust fan right there. So right outside of there, in this closet, we have the coat closet basically across the way from your entry. So there'll be one row of shelving right at the top there. So moving along through the home. So in the hallway here, this brown wire, this is where your thermostat control will be right here. Then you have a big AC return right there. And then you also get another closet right here. So it's like your hallway linen closet. So stepping into the main living area, right off to my left, this is your dining room. So this room, you have an air supply, and then you have the light overhead. And then, of course, you get outlets all throughout. And then in here, it'll be just kind of something to get used to, but you have a lot of switches that control a lot of lights in here. So when you first move in, it's just kind of a game of what switch goes to what. So that's the dining room area. So looking over at the kitchen here. So we have the wiring already ready for your under cabinet lighting. So that's basically what that wire is right there. One of your other options was you get the 6 kitchen recessed lights right there. So that's where all that is. You get an air supply in there as well. And then this circular tube, this is where the microwave will be hooked up. So you have the black tube here for your gas. So that's where your range will be. So you have the range and then the microwave right on top of there. And then all this blocking right here that you see, this will be for all the cabinets. And then you'll just have the cabinets laid out here. We give you outlets as well in the backsplash. And then this one right here, this is a low voltage. All the homes as required by code have to be able to have a hard line hookup for a telephone. So that's just a code thing. But that is everything in the kitchen here. Oh, and last little bit, this is where the refrigerator goes. This is that water hookup right there. So that's what that blue line is. Okay. On this side, we have the kitchen island. So you'll have the dishwasher. As you can see, my cabinet company marked up everything with the sizes of the cabinets. But dishwasher will be on the left-hand side, sink in the center, and then you'll have a cabinet on the right-hand side there. And then right across here will be the pantry closet. So you'll have rows of the shelving in there. So let me step back. So this right here, that's the kitchen. Before I move on, I'm going to step right over here into the laundry room. So as I was saying before with that Smurf tube, so this is your low voltage little cabinet right here. This is where your modem will sit. And that orange tube, that's the one that runs from the garage down into here. So all these white and green wires you see, that's your RG6 and Cat6 wires that, again, are all fished into here. And then when they trim it out, it'll have a little door on there that you can access the inside there. Inside here, this is the laundry room. So we always do washer on the left-hand side, dryer on the right-hand side. So that's the exhaust vent right there, goes up through the attic. And then these are your water supplies. And this part right here in between, that's where the drain hose will go. And that'll light for this room will be controlled by the switch here, and you'll get a air supply in there as well. And then right across here, this is your AC closet. So this door typically opens this way, and they'll actually put the unit in here itself. And of course, they'll pump that water out when the time comes. So moving forward through here, we are now entering the living room. So first things first, up above, we have the box for your chandelier light, and then we have an air supply up there. Just the way that they, designed the air system, there has to be one up there. Like I had sent you the measurements. This is your front entry door, and then you have the 3 windows on the side here. Another part of your package, you have the living room lighting system. So you have the 2 cans over there, and then you have the other 2 cans right here. So that one and that one. And then you have a box up here for your ceiling fan. And then again, with the outlets, you get them all along the wall here. And then these will be the switches that it'll control both in the living room and out on the lanai here. So I'll just step out here right quick. This blue wire will be for your doorbell, but you had also selected the option for the recessed lights on the porch here. And then you get a ceiling fan hookup right there as well. So you get 3 lights out there. And then those gray tubes that hang out, they'll be kind of tucked away in the soffit. It'll have just a little plastic piece on the outside, but that's where all your exhaust fans go out to. So instead of putting another hole in the ceiling, they will have them go out through the soffit. And they've already poured your sidewalk because they were doing it for your neighbors. So in the next couple of weeks, they'll probably begin to start grading out all this outside area, getting that all cleaned up. And then you also get an outlet out here as well. And again, after I record the video and send it off, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you all might have, because I know you're not here, so I can't answer them in person, but I'm more than happy to answer them after the fact. So one of your options, obviously you get the blocking for the TV wall here. So this is that low voltage, so you have the high and low here. It's just good to know too, you have a plumbing vent stack that runs over here, so you just know that on the left side of where this the box is, that's back there. So just heads up, just when you're mounting anything on this wall, just again, you can be careful with it. Then you also have the high-low outlets as well for the television. So those are your low voltage, that's your high voltage. So that is the entertainment wall over here. You have a smoke carbon combo outside the bedroom right there. That's what that box is. And then I'm stepping into now the master bedroom. So very exciting. Best room in the house. So moving left to right here, you got the low voltage here with the outlet there. So that's typically, they're pretty much come to the conclusion that your bed will be over on this side, because you get the Jack and Jill outlets over here. So that's where those outlets are. And those will both be controlled by the switched outlets. So on here, when you flip it, the toggle switch here, if you have 2 lamps plugged in, they'll both turn on. So then the other light switch will turn on. You have the lighting package in here. So one switch will control that, and then the other switch, that last switch up here, will control the fan. So the only other difference too that the master bedrooms get that the standard bedrooms don't, you get 2 air supplies. So you get one on this side, one on this side. And then, of course, your air return. And then moving into the bathroom. The one thing to get used to with this model is that your switches for the bathroom are on the outside of the room. It's just, there's no way to put it on the inside. So with the pocket door, so you do have to have it on the outside. So you have the 3 switches here. Those will control the vanity lights overhead, which is that white wiring. It'll control the light above the shower, and then it'll control the exhaust fan. Before I step in there though, I will point out, so this is the frame for your pocket door. I just like to tell people, it's got a little bit of flexibility to it. When they put drywall on there, it should tighten things up. But I just like to tell people, I don't recommend hanging anything on this wall. It can cause issues with the doors. They're a little finicky, so if you put something in there and this bends in a little bit too much, it can rub on the door. So typically, if you want to put a dresser there, some kind of furniture, that's fine. I just wouldn't hang anything where that door is going to be. So stepping in here, you got a nice little linen closet there, so that'll have the different rows of shelving. And then right over here is your vanity. So you all will get 2 GFI outlets. So you get one in this corner, one in this corner, and then that white wire that goes across, that's the hookup for the vanity lighting. And they do that so that they can mount the box where it actually centers on the sinks. So over here, this is your shower. So you have the actual control valve over here, and then the shower head will be over here on this side. So over here, you have the water closet. So you get two switches in here. So one controls the light, one controls the fan. And they also put in an air supply as well. All right, and then last bit over here. So this walk-in closet controlled by the switch right here. So you'll step in. You get the light up here. You get an air supply in the closet, which is definitely nice. And then you have the shelving in the closet will be mounted. And depending on the model, they mount the shelving differently, but definitely a nice little spacious closet. And then as a option that used to be a problem with them not adding this outlet in, everybody now gets an outlet up here. So you can do whatever you want with it. What most people do is either put a little light in there or some kind of like air freshener, but you get an extra outlet in there. So that is everything with the master. That's everything with the inside of the home here. Again, like I said, if you have any other questions, you can definitely send it to me and I'll get you followed up there. So last bit here, I'm going to move to the exterior of the home. So on the back corner here, and you also had an outlet over here as well. On the back corner here, you'll have a spigot for a water hose. So that's what that is. Piece popping out there, and then you'll have landscaping along the base here, and then they'll just have sod filled in over here. And then moving up to the front, in this black corrugated tube, they'll have a cap over that, but that's the drain for the water in the yard. They do a pretty good job with the grate on these, so you usually don't get any standing water. So moving along this wall here, this bit right here, this is actually that home team box. So this is where they'll come in, they'll hook up to that line, and then they can feed the pesticide in through there. So that's the hookup point that they don't even have to enter your home to be able to utilize that. So it's definitely, once again, nice service. Right here, this white pipe sticking up, this is just a sewer clean out. So it allows our plumbers to, if there's any kind of clog in the sewer system, they can snake in without having to punch any holes in your wall. So definitely nice. So this is the wall on the side of your garage where everything's pretty much going to be located. So we have an outlet right over here. This is where your water heater is. So this is your gas supply for that. This is power, and then this is the water hookup. So it'll just be mounted on the wall right here. This is where your gas meter will go. So when they come in and trench the pipe, the meter, it'll probably be on this side, but it'll just sit there, and then it'll tap into here. And then over here, they're going to pour in little AC pads, so a little 4x4 square. And this is where your unit will sit. And that's the copper hookup right there. And again, we put a little outlet out there in case anybody's doing work on it. They need to get power. And then this over here is the other hose spigot. So you get two of them. And then that line where that pipe's coming up, that's where the the water supply goes into the home. So they just have that sticking out here, and they'll tap it in when they do the plumbers do their trim out. So that's it for there. And then all the corners of the so you get one here and your neighbor gets one on their corner over here, but everybody gets a light over here, and it's a photocell light. So it's activated by the sun in the sky. So when the sun starts to go down, the light starts to come on. So late at night, the lights will come on and actually kind of light the little neighborhood up. So, but that is everything with your home inside and out. So thank you for coming to my presentation here. And once again, if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if need be, we can have a phone call for any concerns or questions that you might have that might be extensive. So that's all I have for you. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Merry Christmas.